In this video I will talk about sex from the point of view of Hegelian logic, and especially the moment of quantity, because for some strange reason I woke up this morning and I had a broad understanding of Hegel's logic in the moment of quantity. I made videos about the quantitative logical determinations, and I invite you to watch them if you have the time. And I will begin by saying that I am manipulating myself because my videos do not have a lot of success as of now, and I try to apply my abstract logical reasoning to topics which are of main interest to the broad population, and human beings are programmed to be interested in sex. So hopefully the logical enlightenment that I can bring to the question of sex and sexual intercourse can be helpful. I would like to add that I have just received this book, The Science of Logic, in English. And my first reading of moments of it is quite strange, because even though I speak English much better than I do speak German, I understand Hegel's logic better in German and in French than in English. And some choices of translation they do not make the understanding easier. Sometimes it would be better to keep the fidelity and the faithfulness to the German words, because to translate Dasein by existence is confusing. But and to translate Aufheben and Aufhebung by sublate and sublation, it doesn't facilitate the understanding. But I advise you that you should watch, if you're interested in what I have to say, the playlist, The Philosophy of Sex, in order to understand the development of thought. And nature is the realm of pure quantity. Time and space and even matter are examples of pure quantity, which is an expansion out of itself, an infinite unity which can be separated into discrete quanta. A quantum is a discrete unity which separates the continuous unity of quantity. And it is believed in the scientific community that nature can be apprehended and conceptually understood from a mathematical perspective. And I would try to apply categories of quantitative logic and mathematics to the question of sex and sexual intercourse. And I will begin by broadly defining the notions, the concepts that I will use. So quantity in the development of logic, quantity is the dialectical development of unity, which is totally fully qualified being, and the unity is the determinate being, the Dasein, which has a limit, which has re-established an infinite relation to itself. That's für sich sein, being for self. And it is unity because there is nothing outside of this infinite relation to self. And it is a unity which contains within itself the moment of the difference. And in unity, as being infinite relation to self of the finite Dasein, the moment of quantity is the moment of indifferent difference. The quantitative determination of a being is that which you can change indifferently without changing the being of that which you change. It's quite obscure, but I will illustrate by examples. So let us begin by concrete examples. What is a hot woman? Hot is a qualitative adjective, but quality turns into quantity, and everything qualitative can be apprehended and grasped in a quantitative determination. So a hot woman is a beautiful woman, an attractive woman, an exciting woman. What is beauty, attraction, and arousal from the perspective of a man. It can be defined quantitatively by age. Usually, hot women are aged between, let us be politically correct, 18 years old and 35 years old. And the peak of hotness or sexual attractiveness for a woman is usually in her mid-20s toward 22, 23, 25. This is when women are at the peak of their sexual attractiveness, which is a quantitative determination of age. It's a biological determination. And I've read books saying that men are programmed to be sexually attracted by sexually mature females independently of the quantitative limit of age. So if a 17-year-old woman is sexually mature, men will be psychologically determined to feel attraction even though they won't willingly admit it because of the embarrassment brought about by the social taboo. But yeah, it must be reminded that in Romeo and Juliet, Juliet was 13 or 14 years old, I don't know. So yeah, that's a social taboo, and men feel guilt and shame when their biology programs them to be attracted by a woman they should not be attracted to. So there comes embarrassment with attraction. Beauty can be defined mathematically in a woman by symmetry. It is a mathematical harmony between the two sides of if a woman has a symmetric face and a symmetric body, she will be more attractive than if she hadn't symmetry. And the same is true for men, but beauty here is considered from the perspective of men as regard to women. And the beauty of a woman is a mathematical determination in the sense that the proportion between the hips and the weights, is that it? And the size of the breast and the hips and the body, the relationship between the size of the various parts of the face and the various parts of the body, the harmonious measure, which is a quantitative measure, which is a quantitative determination. If a woman is well proportionate, if the relationship of the quantitative determinations of the physical aspect of the woman are mathematically harmonized, she will be considered beautiful. Of course, when a man finds a woman attractive, he doesn't have all the mathematical proportions within his mind, but if a woman is mathematically well proportionate, she will be more attractive and considered more hot and more exciting in the perspective of a male. So we have these two determinations. Age, in her mid-20s, a woman is at the peak of her attractiveness. The symmetric and the mathematical proportions of her body and face. The beauty of a woman is also determined by the historical, biological, and Darwinian evolution, because from a perspective of Darwinian evolution, which I don't believe is true, but I will try nonetheless to explain it, the standard manifestation of health, genetic health, that which enabled men to propagate their genes, was beauty, because a beautiful woman was considered, in the unconscious of our Darwinian forebears, more capable of bearing healthy children and caring for their children. So the highest, the males with the highest potential for mating, with the best resources, the more intelligent, the stronger, the more ambitious, the more courageous, whatever, they could select the more attractive women, and attractiveness was a sign of health, and they left in ancient conditions of survival more offsprings, and therefore beauty is partly inherited and a result partly of Darwinian evolution. And truth be told, the proportion of attractive women, it is true also for male, is significantly more important in the higher socioeconomic classes of society than in the lower. It doesn't mean that all the daughters of wealthy parents are beautiful and that the daughters of poorer parents are not beautiful. There are many contrary examples, but on a statistical and mathematical average, there are more women who are considered attractive who are born from wealthy parents, for the reason that I've broadly explained. Also, the beauty of a woman can be made manifest by her makeup and the care that she invests in her physical appearance. And the artificial beauty of a woman is a quantitative determination. It implies the time that she takes to make herself beautiful and make herself attractive by taking care of her skin, her hair, her external appearance, and the money that she invests to buy the best cosmetic products and the highest, the most expensive products are those who give the best skin, the best lip, how do you call it? That which you put on the lips, so red lipstick, and eyelids and makeup, and yeah. And also another quantitative determination of beauty for women is that the famous women, the singers, the artists, the mannequins, are those who make the most covers of magazines, those whose videos are most watched, those who produce more views on the internet or in the magazine. So the qualitative aspect, beauty, attractiveness, sensuality, is translated into quantitative determinations because quality dialectically transforms into quantity in the realm of speculative logic. And as of the question of an attractive male, the beauty of a male is relatively similar to a woman in the sense that it is a question of mathematical proportions and symmetry, and it is important. But beauty, physical beauty for a male, is less important in the seduction process than it is for a female. And what women seek in men is power, status, socioeconomic status, confidence, charisma, and these can be translated into quantitative determinations. A powerful man is a man whose actions can influence a greater number, a greater quantum of peoples. A man with a high social status is the one who has climbed up the social hierarchy and who has higher income, who is wealthier, more quantitative determinations of wealth, who is admired or respected by a higher number of citizens. So every qualitative determination can be quantitatively translated. A man who is confident is a man who can respond to many situations, including difficult ones, with the same mindset and do not panic and remain calm. It means immovable in a situation of hardships and difficulty. And charisma can be quantitatively expressed in the faculty of having a high character, an intense character, and the ability to influence many people, to spread will to act, etc. So these are the qualities that women are attracted to in males, which can be quantitatively, in terms of number, quantum, intensity, extension, translated. Then, about the question in the realm of sexual intercourse, about the size of the penis. There has been a book published by Helmut Nyberg, which is a sociobiologist, and Richard Lynn, I think, in a tribute to Richard Lynn, which was an inquiry about the average size of the penis in many ethnic groups and many countries. And the size of the penis, is it important for a woman? I don't know. But the size is a quantitative determination. It is a limit of quantity. And if the penis is too small, if it is quantitatively small, the woman will not be satisfied. But if it is too large, it may create pain and discomfort, and she will not be satisfied either. So the man with the ideal penis is the man with the penis whose measure is the proper measure, the well adapted, well fitted to the woman. And biological evolution, Darwinian evolution, has made it things in such a way that on average it's probably a bell curve, so a mathematical distribution, that the higher the testosterone level, the greater the size of the penis. And with the decrease of the testosterone level, and the increase in fidelity and faithfulness among monogamous couples, the size of the penis decreased because apparently the biological and Darwinian explanation is that the size of the penis enables a man to impregnate a woman and to spread his sperm deeper into the vagina. And when fidelity increases, which is proportionate to the decrease in testosterone, the need to doubt the faithfulness of the female is less important, so the penis can decrease in size. And the quantity of breakups and marital betrayals, if one may speak of such a term, is decreased, and therefore the need to have a long and large penis to impregnate the woman deeper into her vagina decreases also. So there have been studies in biological Darwinian evolution who explain this, and also there is a correlation between the average size of the penis in many ethnic groups and the average IQ, and the peoples with the highest IQ on average, and this is a bell curve, it's a normal distribution, so it doesn't mean that all of them are highly intelligent, but they are a higher proportion, which is a quantitative relationship. The higher the IQ, the lower the size of the penis, and the higher the size of the penis, the lower the IQ on average. Of course, there can be people with a very high IQ and a very large penis, and those with a small IQ and a small penis, which is kind of problematic in the relationship with women, but this is how the mathematical lottery has unfolded. So we have on the internet and on pornography the acronym BBC, which stands for, well, we all know what, but it's kind of an expression of racism if you think about it, because imagine that you had BAB, Big Asian Brain, because on average, supposedly the Northeast Asian have a larger brain, which is a quantitative determination, which gives them a higher IQ on average. What if we talked about BAB? Wouldn't that be racist? Wouldn't that be a problem for society to acknowledge that some ethnic groups are on average, not all of the members, but it's a mathematical average, more intelligent and have more higher mental faculties, which enable them to gain higher social status and success on average? That would be considered racist, but on the pornographic community, you see that BBC, namely that some groups of people are on average have a bigger penis, which is well known in the public consciousness of those who watch pornography. It's not a problem, so that there's kind of a hypocrisy here. Then, in the realm of sexual intercourse, the duration, the length of the sexual act, it must be properly measured, and measure in the realm of speculative logic is the unity of quantity and quality. And if the sexual intercourse lasts too shortly, if it's too short, the woman will be frustrated and disappointed. If it's too long, it can become annoying, boring, and even painful. So the proper measure of the length and the duration of the sexual act must be proportionately measured, and a successful sexual intercourse is the one which has the proper measure. Here again we find Hegelian logical determinations. And I will quote a sentence from Novalis, the German poet, who says, "A hero is the one who knows how to hold 1 minute longer." A hero is the one who can endure 1 minute longer. And I'm sure that women would agree that in the realm of sex, if their lover could make sexuality and sexual intercourse last 1 minute longer, he would be a real hero. But most of the time, it fails. That's a joke. I'm sure women would agree. I wrote that women are sexual, men also, but women want to be penetrated. And what women seek in sexuality, this is very well explained in the book Vagina, a New Biography, of which I have briefly talked in my playlist Philosophy of Sex. Naomi Wolf explains that when a woman is properly physically stimulated, there's a connection between the vagina and the brain by neural and chemical transmissions probably. When a woman reaches climax in a sexual intercourse and reaches orgasm, she experiences a unity with all things. So we are again find a quantitative determination. The individual empirical self of the woman becomes united with a greater sense of self, with some sort of a cosmic substantial self, and she experiences a feeling of connectedness and interconnections between all things, and that's the highest, again a quantitative determination, moment of joy and pleasure. And women are obsessed about sex, men also, but a little bit less. And in sexuality, physical sexuality, men seek the stimulation of the penis, which is a stimulation of the physical parts of the penis to seek pleasure. So men in sexuality, physical sex, they are in search of a purely materialist pleasure, whereas women, they want the physical stimulation and the physical pleasure, but they also want to be psychologically stimulated. For a woman, sex which is just sex and which lacks the psychological aspect, the playful and erotic tension, it's not really sex for a woman if there is not this erotic tension in the psychological realm. I wrote that sexual attraction, with all the previous quantitative determinations that I have mentioned, can be translated by a quantity, a quantum of chemical reactions and chemical movements within the brain. And when men see attractive women, as previously defined, they unconsciously, their body produces chemical reactions, and this movement of particles and atoms and molecules and chemical elements within the body, within the testicles mostly, but not only, within the brain, produces a feeling of sexual attraction and gives them the will to have a sexual intercourse. And this is probably the same for women, but women may be less sexually attracted by the purely physical aspect of a man, but they can be aroused by the manifestation of the charisma and the confidence of a man, or the standard and the status of a man. Also, sexual fantasies can be awakened when the two partners want to have sex in a strange place. And a strange place is a qualitative determination which can be translated into quantitative terms. To have sex in a strange place means in a place where sexual intercourse are not frequent, which is a statistical determination. And this can create excitement, the idea of breaking a taboo, for instance, having sex in a public place, or in an elevator, or in a plane, or in in the toilet of a restaurant, or whatever. I don't know what women fantasize about, or what men think about. Weird sexual practices, and weird here is a qualitative determination which can be quantitatively determined, which is simply a statistical occurrence, a statistical frequency. Weird sexual practices can increase and arouse erotic tension and excitement. And yeah. Then the proper sexual intercourse. In order for the woman to be sexually pleased, various surfaces of the body must be stimulated, which is an electromagnetic contact between the various body parts of the man and that of the woman, which creates electromagnetic and chemical reactions. And depending on the nervous surface, the number of the nervous system, it can create sexual arousal and pleasure. And yeah, and man, by stimulating the various parts of the woman's body, can create expectations. And by switching from one part to the other, it can arouse and excite and stimulate the nervous system, which means a quantitative bringing forth of chemical reactions within the body of the woman, which creates excitement and pleasure. I also noted that the size of the penis, the length and the width of the penis is used to stimulate a deeper and wider part of the vagina. So here again we find quantitative determination which are related to the sexual act. Also the size of condoms. In the modern West, racism and even racism is condemned, which is okay, but race realism is condemned as being morally bankrupt. But in the market economy for selling condoms, the big companies must use the scientific discoveries of ethnic differences in the sociobiological structure of the body to adapt their products, in this case condoms, which are needed for safety, to the consumer and to the audience to which they sell the product. So there are various sizes of condoms, fitted or not fitted for various types of men. And this is a way in which science, the most empirically minded science, Darwinian empirical rationality, is used for the sake of promoting love and security. So, yeah. I also noted that some women, maybe all women, secretly want to be fucked hard. Then again, we find a quantitative determination, which is intensity. It's a unity within itself, with a higher speed, with a more intense rhythm. But they also want to be penetrated in a sweet manner, in a soft manner, in a caring manner. So there's this dichotomy within the female psyche who wants to be penetrated in a rough manner, but at the same time they want sweetness and so, to be softly cared about. So there's this double schizophrenic tendency within the female psyche. I also noted that in the psychological aspect of arousal and sexual excitement, some words can create excitement and can make the woman lose her mind completely. And these words are qualitative words, but which have a quantitative determination, which means that these are the kind of words that we do not use very often, or not in convenient public situations, or not in acceptable social context. And there are some kind of words that, when used in a erotic context, can create an enormous amount of excitement in women, and that's quite comical. I also noted that women tend to forget what they said in a state of erotic transcendence. They have a tendency to express some ideas that, if they are reminded that you said that when we had an erotic experience, they say, no, I didn't say that, I don't remember having said that. So that's quite comical. Also, the sexual intercourse can be stimulated by using various positions. That's the Kama Sutra. And these are spatial and geometrical position, and depending on the position, the various parts of the body will not be stimulated in the same way. It will be more or less stimulating for the male or the woman. I noted that an intense lover in the realm of sexuality. So intensity is the quantitative determination of unity in the moment of a high degree. An intense lover, a great lover, will be remembered longer. So the intensity of his loving relationship will have a wider, a broader impact. So the woman will think about it during a longer period of time. She will want to start the sexual intercourse more often, and these are extensive determinations. So intensity and extension are two moments of the same quantitative determination, and here again we find Hegelian logic. Also, there is a a twisted aspect in the male psyche. The man wants, in a sexual intercourse, wants the woman to admit that she wants to be penetrated. Please, F word me. And the man wants to create expectations in the woman and then to satisfy the expectations. So yeah. I noted that sex is spiritual because it is elevated, and there's an aspect of the language aspect, and language is logical. So there is logic within the most erotic moment of sexual tension. I also noted that sex is a regression to an animal state. So it's an elevation into the realm of spirit through the means of language, but also a regression to primitive states of being. So there's this ambiguous relationship of sex. I noted that the perfect sexual act is an act where the woman is totally passive and the man is totally active. The man is in control of the entire process. If the act is successful, the heat rises, the heart beatings increase, the vision is blurred, the quantitatively determined and separated elements of reality tend to be blurred and to be mixed together, and the woman loses her sense of consciousness. Chemicals are released, quantity of chemical reactions within the body and within the brain are increasing. So the sexual intercourse is a biological, chemical, psychological, and spiritual experience. And it is also cultural because sexuality is different, though it is discrete and continuous. There is only one way of having sex, but it is particularized in the different cultures. An Italian lover is not the same as a French lover, and an English lover, and a Turkish lover, and Chinese lover, or whatever, an African lover. I also noted that man, contrary to woman, finds his path and his purpose in a higher endeavor, which is science or philosophy. And to renounce sex from the perspective of a man enables him to intensify his spiritual powers and to leave sexuality aside and to focus on a higher meaning, which is the will to understand the world or to change the world for the better, to increase the will to power and the spiritual strength. And so the diminishing aspect of sexual intercourse in the physical realm enables man to gather more spiritual power, and that's why the ascetic preach sexual renouncement, and that's why in the history of Europe, for instance, the priests, which were often spiritually enlightened, had no sexual life whatsoever. The difference between a sexual intercourse which is just sex and an unforgettable love experience is a difference of measure. If more aspects, quantitative determination again, of the sexual act can be more skillfully, more smoothly united together in a perfect harmony, the sexual intercourse will be unforgettable and will be a cause of great joy for the woman and the man also, because the idea of being the cause of pleasure for another being, another human being, is a great satisfaction for man. And I said that the perfect lover is the one that many women dream about, the one who is perfect. The only problem is that he probably does not exist. That's the conclusion. So here's what I could say. I repeat what I said at the beginning of the video. The purpose of this illustration of quantitative, mathematical, logical determinations within the most trivial aspect of human existence is to try to promote my view of cultural Hegelianism, which simply says that logic and rationality are everywhere, for the better and the worse. And if you are convinced with what I say, you might read the books that I've mentioned and try to please your female sexual partner, if that enables you to feel better. But the true satisfaction for a man is to be found in philosophy and spirituality. So that was what I had to say.